Hey everyone, welcome to the Bold and the Beautiful. I'm Oma, and I'm so excited to have you here. If you love Bold and Beautiful update, then you're in the right place. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Alright, let's dive right in. You ever have one of those nights where you think everything's perfect, and then in just a few words, your whole world collapses? That's what happened to Electra. She thought she was building this beautiful future with Will, but then he sat her down and confessed something that left her completely shattered. The twist. It wasn't just a mistake. It was planned. And the girl behind it all, Luna, is now claiming she's pregnant with Will's baby. Now Electra's heartbroken, Katie's ready for war to protect her son, and Luna's standing there gloating, saying nothing and no one can stop her. But Katie makes a vow that chills the room. You will never be Will's wife. Never. Stick around, because what happens next will leave you just as stunned as Electra. Will's reveal leaves Electra reeling, and Katie vows Luna will never be her son's wife. I never thought I'd find myself in this kind of situation. You know, the kind where your heart is pounding so hard against your ribs that you swear it's going to crack them open. The kind where your stomach feels like it's flipping inside out and you're trying to hold on to some sense of normalcy when everything around you has just shattered. That's how it was the night Will told me. We were at the Forrester guest house. Quiet, secluded, the kind of place that's supposed to feel romantic and safe. I remember the way the soft lamps glowed against the wood-paneled walls, the faint smell of cedar in the air, and the way I had convinced myself, right up until the moment he opened his mouth, that nothing truly awful had happened at that party. He'd had too much to drink. That much I knew. And Will, for all his confidence, is a light drinker. He's the kind of guy who gets flushed after a glass of wine, who laughs too loud after 2 beers. At the party, he had a few too many. I thought it was harmless. Boys will be boys, right? It's a phrase I hate, but I clung to it because I wanted to believe. So when I looked at him across that room, his head in his hands, his body bent like he was carrying the weight of the world, I told him softly, I'm not upset you had a few too many, Will. It's not like anything bad happened, right? The silence that followed still rings in my ears. That pause was the beginning of the end. He lifted his face, his eyes glassy but sober now, and there was this shame in them I'd never seen before. Will isn't perfect, nobody is. But he's always been honest with me. He's the guy who remembers the little things, like how I take my coffee or the fact that I can't stand the sound of crickets at night. And seeing him like that, like a boy about to confess the kind of mistake that could burn everything down, it chilled me. Electra, he started, his voice cracking in a way that made me want to comfort him and shake him all at once. Something happened after you left. Something I wish to God I could undo. I felt my breath catch in my throat. Something happened. What do you mean? I whispered, though part of me didn't want the answer. I thought you came back, he said, his hands trembling. I thought it was you. Those words hit me like ice water. He went on, explaining through tears how someone had entered his room, wearing my mask from the party. My mask. The one I'd tossed onto the dresser before storming out after our little argument earlier that night. He thought it was me. He wanted it to be me. But it wasn't. I remember grabbing his wrist, forcing him to look at me. Will, who was it? Who was wearing my mask? He wouldn't answer at first. He just shook his head like a little boy, like if he denied it long enough the truth would vanish. I pressed him, my voice sharper each time. Zend? Was it Zend playing some kind of stupid prank? No. Was it one of the models? No. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, he whispered it. Luna. That name. That girl. It was like the floor collapsed beneath me. Luna, the one I never trusted, the one who always lingered a little too close to Will, her laugh just a little too loud, her compliments dripping with something that never felt innocent. I had warned him. I had warned him. She wanted me to believe it was you, Will choked out. Electra, I swear to you, I thought it was you. My chest tightened until I thought I couldn't breathe. So you slept with her? I could barely form the words. He broke. Tears streamed down his face as he begged. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Electra. That was the night my heart cracked in two. Meanwhile, across town, Katie was pacing like a lioness in Bill's living room. Katie's always had this fierce energy, especially when it comes to protecting her son. And now, she was ready for war. I know her, she seethed, her arms crossed tight across her chest. I know Luna. She thinks she's landed the ultimate meal ticket with this pregnancy. She thinks she can trap Will, but she has no idea who she's dealing with. Bill tried to calm her, though he wasn't calm himself. He was furious. He knew what Luna was. Manipulative, dangerous, without a shred of morality. He'd seen women like her before, women who smelled blood in the water and went in for the kill. But Katie wasn't interested in measured words. She was focused on one thing, protecting her son. Will is telling Electra about her right now, she said firmly. And when Electra finds out, Luna will lose whatever pathetic hold she thinks she has. But then Luna herself appeared, like a storm blowing into the room uninvited. She smiled that smug little smile of hers, the kind that made Katie's skin crawl. Oh, I bet Electra's face is priceless right about now, she gloated, finding out that her perfect little romance isn't so perfect after all. Bill's jaw clenched so tight I thought his teeth might crack. Electra doesn't deserve this. You don't deserve to even say her name. Oh, come on, Luna smirked, tossing her hair. Imagine how boring Will's life would have been with her. Little Miss Yawn Fest? Please. I've got fire, Bill. And now, I've got his future. Katie narrowed her eyes, her whole body radiating fury. Don't flatter yourself. Electra is the girl Will loves. Not you. Never you. But Luna just laughed, leaning against the doorway like she already owned the place. Love. Love's overrated. Bonds can be broken. And mine with Will? Well, let's just say it's sealed now. I'm carrying his child. It was like she was daring them, taunting them with that swollen sense of power she thought she had. Bill stepped forward, his voice low and threatening. You will never screw up my son's life. You will never have a Spencer baby. And Katie. Oh, Katie's eyes were like fire when she stepped right up to Luna and hissed. You may think you've won, but hear me now. You will never be Will's wife. Never. Back at the guest house, I couldn't stop replaying Will's words in my head. My body felt numb, but my mind was on fire. He thought it was you. He thought it was you. He thought it was you. But it wasn't me. And that made all the difference. I stared at him, my whole body shaking, and all I could say was, the night before we were finally supposed to make love, you slept with another girl? Will crumbled, sobbing into his hands, repeating over and over how sorry he was. But sorry didn't erase the image burned into my head. Sorry didn't take away the sound of Luna's laughter echoing through my memory. Sorry didn't fix the fact that the boy I loved had let someone else crawl into his bed, even if he swore he thought it was me. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if I should scream or run or hit him. All I knew was that the world I thought I had with Will, this safe, perfect little bubble, had been punctured, and nothing would ever feel the same again. I don't even know how long I sat there, frozen, listening to the sound of Will crying. The boy I loved, the boy I trusted more than anyone, was on his knees in front of me, begging for forgiveness. And the cruelest part? Some tiny, fragile part of me wanted to forgive him, because I loved him. But love doesn't stop a wound from bleeding. I pulled away from him when he tried to grab my hand. Don't touch me, I said, my voice shaking. I hated how broken I sounded, but I couldn't help it. My chest felt like it was caving in. Electra, please. Don't say my name, I cut him off. Don't even say it. You don't get to say it after this. His face crumpled like he'd been physically struck. He ran his hands through his hair, pacing the room, and I could feel his desperation clawing at the air between us. I thought it was you, he said again, like repeating it could somehow erase what happened. You don't understand. I was so happy, Electra. I thought you came back. I thought we were finally. Stop. I shouted it louder than I intended, and he stopped cold, staring at me like he was afraid I might break apart. Maybe I already had. You don't get to tell me you were happy, I whispered harshly, tears burning my eyes. You don't get to tell me that when it wasn't me. When it was her. The name stuck in my throat like poison. Luna. That girl had been circling Will for months, circling me too, watching with those sly little smiles and those pointed comments that I always brushed off. People told me I was paranoid, that Luna was harmless, that I was imagining it. But I wasn't. I knew. And now, here we were. Will slumped onto the edge of the bed, his face buried in his hands. I'm sorry, he whispered again. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. I love you, Electra. Only you. But those words felt like ashes. I wanted to believe him. God, I wanted to. But how do you believe in love when it's been invaded by lies? I stood up, my knees trembling beneath me. I can't do this right now, I told him. I can't even look at you. Electra, please don't leave me. But I was already halfway to the door. While I was walking away from the man I thought I'd spend my future with, Luna was standing in Bill's living room, smirking like the cat who'd eaten the canary. Your son's mine now, she told Katie, her voice dripping with satisfaction. You can fight it all you want, but nothing's stronger than blood. And now I've got his. Katie's jaw clenched so tight the veins in her neck stood out. She stepped forward, her eyes locked on Luna's like daggers. You listen to me, and you listen good. You may think you've trapped him, but you've only trapped yourself. Will doesn't love you. He never did. He never will. Luna laughed, tossing her hair back. Oh, Katie. You're so naive. Love doesn't matter anymore. I'm carrying his child. That's all that matters now. He'll have to choose me. Bill's voice boomed across the room, low and dangerous. You will never be a Spencer. Not as long as I draw breath. And if you think you're going to manipulate my son into being some trophy husband for you, you've got another thing coming. For a second, I thought Luna might flinch. But no, she doubled down. She crossed her arms, tilting her chin high like a queen about to claim her throne. You can't stop me, she taunted. You can't stop us. Katie's voice dropped, soft but lethal. Watch me. Later that night, I found myself back at my apartment, curled up on the couch with a blanket I wasn't even aware I'd grabbed. My whole body felt like it had been drained of blood. I stared at the ceiling, listening to the hum of the refrigerator, the distant sound of a car passing by, anything to keep me tethered to reality. But the silence in my chest was deafening. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her. I saw Luna slipping into that room, wearing my mask, her hands reaching for him. I saw Will smiling, thinking it was me. And the thought of it made me sick. I picked up my phone half a dozen times, tempted to call him, to scream at him, to demand answers he'd already given me. But each time, I set it back down, my hands shaking. What good would it do? What good would it do to hear more apologies when none of them could rewind time? I cried until my body had no more tears left. Then I just lay there, numb, my face pressed into the pillow, wondering how the hell everything had gone so wrong so fast. The next morning, Katie called me. I almost didn't pick up. My voice was raw, my body heavy from the night before. But something in me needed to hear her voice, needed someone who wasn't Will, someone who wasn't Luna. Electra, she said gently. Sweetheart, are you okay? I almost laughed at the absurdity of the question. Do I sound okay? Her sigh was heavy, full of both sympathy and rage. I know, honey. Will told me. And I swear to you, I'm going to make sure Luna never gets away with this. She's pregnant, Katie, I whispered. Saying it out loud made the words taste like bile. She's carrying his child. What does that even mean for us? For me. There was a pause on the other end of the line. Then Katie's voice hardened, steel beneath the softness. It means nothing. Do you hear me? Nothing. She can play whatever game she wants, but I will not let her use that baby to chain my son to her. You are the girl he loves, Electra, and I will do everything in my power to protect that. I didn't know whether to thank her or cry harder, because as much as I appreciated her fierce loyalty, as much as I wanted to believe her words, there was still this gnawing voice in the back of my head whispering, but what if Luna's right? What if this changes everything? And meanwhile, Luna was reveling in the chaos she'd caused. She strutted around like she'd already won, like the future was hers for the taking. Every glance in the mirror was another confirmation that she'd done it, that she'd sunk her claws in so deep no one could pry her loose. She'll never forgive him, Luna told herself as she poured a glass of wine she probably shouldn't have been drinking. And once Electra's out of the picture, we won't have a choice. He'll be mine.